Welcome back to Falling Fox Gaming, everybody. I am your host Blaine, and today we're going to be playing some Genesis Alpha 1. For those of you that don't know, it is a loop game, so you're supposed to play through multiple times. Each time you play through, you'll unlock some new stuff for future playthroughs. I personally have only ever played through one time, and it was when the game first came out a couple of years ago. So suffice it to say, I've forgotten a good deal about the game. I do remember the intro a little bit, so I should be able to stumble through enough to where the game won't implode on us right away. So let's just jump right in and see what this game has to offer, because honestly, it's a lot of fun. And as for the entire point of the game, so mega corporations are sending people up into space to try and find a new planet to colonize because they've pretty much destroyed Earth at this point. I was playing as the Superior Genetics faction or corporation because I unlocked Superior Genetics 2 apparently, so that's what we're playing as. I don't know what the benefits are to that or the penalties, but we're just going to kind of go with it because I've already unlocked it, so why not select it? And then we're just going to be playing as humans. Now, you can unlock a whole bunch of different alien races and stuff, but apparently I have not done that, so this is what we're going to be playing as. We are allowed to have 7 total crewmates, us, and then 6 other people. If we die, we get to take over one of them, so as long as we have one crewmate available, we are still playing. And then for our artifacts, I've unlocked a bunch of random ones, and I honestly don't know what most of them do, so I just selected a couple simple things. 2 of them are knowing where 2 different alien species are throughout the galaxy, the Hollow people and the Mechanic people. And then unlocking a little Robotnik B1 robot, and I honestly don't even remember if you start off with them anyways, so this might be a complete waste, but whatever. And then the security gate, which allows you to set up a module that kind of blocks off aliens from parts of your ship. I never actually used it in my playthrough, but I had it unlocked, and I remember it's supposed to be a pretty good unlock, so I selected it just because why not? And then as for the galaxy setup, I just left everything as the default, nothing special here. I'll just kind of scroll through it so you guys that know the game can see, and that's just kind of what we're going to roll with. We're just going to start a brand new game and hop into the ship making part. And here we are at the shipbuilding menu. So the cool thing about this is it also functions as your map. Whatever you actually build effectively becomes part of your map. Now, the building in the game is modular, so anything you click on the left-hand side, it effectively, you can just put it wherever you want as long as there's a doorway accessible to it. So you can kind of design your ship however you want. There's no real limitations. It's just kind of up to your imagination, and generally you just want to kind of be smart about it. Leave yourself some openings so that way you can build things in the future. Don't box yourself in. I'm not going to cover everything that we can build today because it'd be very tedious to do so, and I think we can just kind of cover things as we build them and use them. So I'm going to go ahead and build a ship and then just kind of explain what I did so that way you guys aren't just sitting here watching me struggle through trying to build a ship, because I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit rusty with this. So give me just a minute and we'll be right back. Okay, so here's our ship. It kind of looks like a cluster, I'll admit that fully, but it's very utilitarian in my opinion. So let me show you the general layout. I'm going to show you the layout without the actual exterior of the ship just so it's easier to see. I remember very specifically a detail about this game that I almost forgot about, and it took me a little while to remember it, but when I did, I immediately rebuilt my ship. So I built a turbo lift, which is like an elevator, to give us a second floor, and I'll explain why here in a second, but let me talk about our main floor first. So first we have our bridge right here. When we come out, there's just gonna be a blank hallway where we'll eventually add on to stuff and add new rooms and everything, but right now it's just kind of an empty hallway. To the left of the bridge is the turbo lift, which is an elevator, and then next to that is a storage unit. And then we have our greenhouse, which is effectively a biodome that's going to give us the atmosphere for the ship. And then connected to that is our crew quarters. The crew quarters is where any of the NPCs, like the other crew members, will just hang out when they're not doing anything. I put that there so that way they're always kind of going in between the greenhouse, because the greenhouse is an area we want to keep defended. So if anything, like any shenanigans happen, it'll be an easy place to defend. Now, the turbo lift has kind of a good and bad thing to it. One, it makes our main floor a little bit safer, but the problem is the crewmates have a really hard time going up and down it, so I actually need to build a crew quarters down here as well, and I hope that our crew will start down here. Now that I think about it, I built that crew quarters second, so hold on, I need to actually get rid of this and then rebuild that. The reason why I did that is because the first crew quarters you build is where most of your people go, like all 5 of them. And then when you build the second one, only 1 person will go there. And we only need 1 person up here right now, so that's not that big of an issue. So the reason why you want to have this stuff down here, the tractor beam room, the crew quarters, and the hangar down here, is that the tractor beam room, the hangar, and eventually the refinery, when we have enough resources for it, are all the rooms where things can spawn on your ship when you're using the room. And they can't use the turbo lift. So as long as we have these 3 rooms down here, if aliens aliens invade our ship, not including a raid, then they can only destroy stuff in these rooms. And none of that really matters. It's the stuff up here that if they destroy like the greenhouse or the bridge, that we're actually in trouble. So they can wreak havoc down here all they want, and we can just deal with them at our own leisure. Which I'll explain when an infestation or an invasion happens. Then you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, I don't think this is perfect. I think we are going to run into a couple of issues with my layout, but I don't really care. We'll just, deal with it when the time comes. So let's just get started and have some fun. So here we are on the bridge of the ship. We have a lot of different things to discuss really quickly, and I don't want to just kind of take up this whole session with just talking and doing basically nothing. So I'm just going to kind of run down how this game works. So in every single room pretty much where there's work to do, there's terminals like this and like this. The terminals like this where it says hold E to speed up process. That means as long as we are standing here and hold E, we will speed up the process of whatever is in that room, whether it's crafting something or in this case scanning things, or we can assign people using this terminal in the top right corner here. We can assign crew and they will come in here and use those machines to do the exact same thing. This current screen that we're on right now is the galaxy map. We are in this square down here. And because our sensors are kind of limited, we can only see the squares directly around where we're currently at. So in the squares around us, there's a couple empty spaces that don't have anything, but these other ones that have stuff, those can also be scanned by somebody using that machine to the left of us. So we're going to assign a crewmate here. They're going to come in here and they're going to start scanning all this stuff. They're going to start with the square we're on, and then they're going to move from each one of these squares down to the next one until eventually all this stuff is scanned. Also on the bridge is our little armory area down here, and there's a couple turrets that we're going to take and a couple energy barriers that we're going to take, along with some bigger guns if we want. We start off with a pistol and a assault rifle, and I think we have ammo like right here. Yeah, so we have a bunch of ammo, a decent amount to begin with, but I do think it is finite, so you don't want to waste your rifle ammo, so you generally use your pistol if you can. We can heal ourselves using this, and if we collect biomass. Right now I don't think we can collect biomass because we don't have a biotank or whatever it's called, so we want to be careful not to take too much damage right now. So like I said, every single one of the rooms where you can actually do something are set up kind of like this, where there's like a main terminal and then a secondary terminal, but some rooms have some special stuff to it. So as I can show you over here, there's a turbo lift, there's our little storage bay, here's the greenhouse. Survival guide updated. The greenhouse has the exact same thing. There's these little terminals here, and then there's the big terminal here. This big terminal allows us to plant new plants. We currently have 4 ferns, which has given us our oxygen, and we have room for 2 more plants. If we ever want to increase our crew size, we need more plants to get more oxygen for our ship, and that's kind of all there really is to getting a bigger crew, is you just need more oxygen and more crew spaces, and then you can use the cloning labs to build more people. And that's kind of how the game works. As long as you have biomass to create clones, you can just kind of keep pumping them out as long as you have the crew quarters and the oxygen on your ship for that. Now, if we go into the crew quarters here, nobody's going to be here because the one person we have living in this crew quarters is actually currently working on the bridge. But your other people will all be kind of hanging out in the crew quarters that they're assigned, which we'll go downstairs right now and show you where they're all at. Go to the turbo lift and head down to floor -2. Here in the tractor beam room, we can do a couple different things. We can use the terminal here to find debris that has already been scanned by our other people, and we can bring aboard space debris. Now, this is already refined materials that we have taken from other spaceships or space stations that are destroyed, so we don't have to refine this stuff. This is actual materials we're getting. If we land on a planet, as you see in the bottom corner there, it says launch from hangar, we have to use the hangar to do that. And when we bring back materials from those planets, it's actually just raw materials that we have to refine before we can use it. So scanning debris and collecting it from the tractor beam room is the most efficient way to get it. But there's a danger to it. Every time you bring something aboard, you have a chance to bring aboard an alien. If that happens, you have to fight them. They're usually just small creatures that are pretty easy to deal with, but if they end up coming down here and you don't see them, they can actually use the access tunnels underneath your ship to create problems. They can destroy these little nodes right here, and that'll make things stop functioning properly, which for us is not going to matter because we have all this stuff separated from the rest of our ship. So if they destroy stuff in here, oh well, we just come kill them and then repair them. The other thing that can happen is as we're bringing stuff aboard, an infestation can happen, and I'm going to talk about that when that actually happens rather than right now because it's kind of a lot to discuss without being able to physically show you. And here's our other crew quarters where we have the other 5 people just kind of standing around doing absolutely nothing. We will assign them stuff very soon. Each one of these people we can rename. So if you guys want to be named in the game, let me know. We have 3 boys and 3 girls to rename. Just let me know what sex you want to be and then what name you want on there. I really like their colors. The white and teal is kind of like my colors, so neat. And the final room for us to talk about is the hangar. This is where we can actually take crewmates with us or just send crewmates down to planets. And that's where they'll do little missions. Now, the missions are very simple. It's just go to planets, collect resources, and generally fight hostile creatures that are on the planet or investigate different sites, which is where you kind of gain research from this game. On the planet, you have several different goals. One, if you kill aliens, you can collect their DNA, which allows you to upgrade stuff. I don't remember. You know, we'll figure that out later. That part I don't really remember fully. I just remember that it's important. So let's do this. We have some things scanned. So let's get a couple people working in here. We'll get 2 people working in here. We need iron for sure. So we're going to go to the debris that has 11 iron and we'll activate the beam. Now, as you see here, the bar will continue to go up as long as we have people working on it. If we work on it, it will go extremely fast. Watch this. And done. So if we actually help, it goes way, way faster. And then they'll bring stuff aboard. Top left corner, beamed iron. So that will keep happening and until this debris spot is completely used up. This one had 11, now it has 10 because we gained 1 iron. We'll do this 10 more times and most of them will be iron, but a couple of times we'll most likely have some aliens come aboard with it. So we're just going to kind of scan until that happens. Alright, we've already done a bunch of scanning and we haven't had any invasions yet. Okay, here we go. So we have like this little like worm thing. Oh, that died right away. I'll try and pick that up. And hey, where's that thing going? No, get it. Okay, there we go. So it's got our attention, or we got its attention, and it won't die. Okay, there we go. So it dropped a couple of things. So the little worm thing didn't drop anything. It just dropped some biomass, which we can't collect yet because we don't have a biotank. But the arachnid, it dropped 2, I think, samples. I think what they're called. What are they called here? Alien ability sample awareness and clone sample arachnid. Yeah, so basically with those things that it dropped, if we collect all 10 of them, one of them allows us to create the arachnoid person, which is like a clone instead of humans, and the other one is like an upgrade for our people. So we could do some gene modification if we have the proper room for it. And that's one of the big benefits of actually going down to planets, is that you can actually fight a lot of aliens and they'll drop a lot more of those samples. Whereas the tractor beam room here is primarily for collecting like resources rather than those samples. And speaking of stuff here in this room, here is an infection point or infestation point. So these little brown things on the floor here, this means we are being infested. And these little like brown splotches will grow like this and they'll get really big and we'll have to shoot them before they get too big and start hatching monsters. So this can spread very, very rapidly. So if you ever see these, you got to get rid of them as quickly as possible, but they can't go up the turbo lift, which is why we have everything down here. So we're gonna go ahead and clear everything out because unfortunately our crewmates will not do it for some reason. So we're just gonna go ahead and clear up the ship, and then we're actually gonna go to the hangar and do a planet mission once we check all the little spaces, nooks and crannies, including the under area. Okay, so we've cleared everything out and we dismissed everybody that was working on the other station, and we're going to assign them here. So we can now have 4 people working on the hangar mission, which is going to the planet. And we're going to go to this planet here, this Parmenixi, whatever it's called, because we actually want to get the ferns for the O2, because if we increase the O2 on our ship, we can eventually get more crewmates. So that's kind of what we're going to focus on right now. So we're just going to go ahead and launch the harvester, and then we're going to get into the harvester ourselves and wait for the countdown. So you basically have 10 seconds from clicking launch harvester to get on board. If you don't get on board, then you're pretty much just your crewmates will go there, and then they'll go do the mission without you, which there's a greater chance of one of them getting hurt or dying. Oh yeah, you can also select what you want your people to focus on collecting. So if we select the fern, then when we land, our crewmates will try and collect that immediately if they can. Yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and click launch and then get on the ship and wait for them to get on board here. So it's 3 of them. Where's the 4th one? This guy's cutting it kind of close over here, just barely getting on in time. Alright, so let's go to the planet. So a couple of things about being on the planet. One, it's always a good idea to have some turrets. Turrets have a limited amount of ammo, but they can defend you and your crew. I always like having at least 2 with, because I think that's as many as you can plop down at a time. But they will defend your crew probably better than your crew will defend your crew. And your ship actually has this turret up here, which has unlimited ammo. So if you're ever in danger, you just kind of hang out behind your ship and it will help defend you. And on our wrist, we can actually see that there's like a little green dot that has some, there's a lot of bad guys. Wow. There's actually a lot on this planet. This little thing right here actually collects DNA and biomass and stuff, so that's what I'm doing with that. But on your wrist, there's a little green dot, and if there's red that appears, that means there's an enemy in that direction. And unfortunately, you can't see it when you have your pistol out, which is like the most important thing because it has unlimited ammo. So we're primarily going to be using our pistol, so we're going to switch back and forth between our rifle and our pistol. The rifle so we can actually see where bad guys are, and then pistol because it has unlimited ammo. So here we go. Life forms detected in this direction. Now we'll switch to our pistol because unlimited ammo. And this way we can kill these things without wasting ammo because they're not that difficult. We'll save our ammo for more difficult things. So we collected a cloning sample, which is the Mantis 1, which is I think actually a humanoid race. Yeah. If we collect 10 samples of them, I think we can actually make them on our ship. We probably won't because we like having humans because they just have oxygen, which is kind of like, you know, the atmosphere we already have set up. And that's one of the downsides to the other alien species that you can unlock. They may have benefits that are better than like the humans, but they require different atmosphere on your ship, which means you have to actually change your atmosphere on your ship so that way they can survive. Is our harvester full already? Oh yeah, our harvester is already full. So we actually want to pick up our turrets so we don't leave them behind because we don't want to leave them behind. We want them. I'm going to collect a little bit more of this biomass. I'm hoping more DNA. No? Alright, we'll just go then. Click ready to depart. Launch. And then you do have to defend for 10 seconds. You can die during this time period, so it's important to defend your ship. And I think if your ship gets attacked during this phase, like if you see aliens, I think that usually means you bring them back to your big ship. Here we are. And what we're going to do now is the exact same thing. Deposit space required. Okay, so we don't actually have a deposit space for the resources here. These right here. So we really can't even do another mission until we build another section of our ship where we can deposit these. And those little robots from the bridge will actually bring them to this storage area for them when we have that. But now that we've returned from a mission to a planet, we're going to do a scan of the ship, of the under area and the above area in the same way we did with the tractor beam room, because ships can also bring back infestations and other little aliens. This time I don't think there's anything. I didn't see anything up above in terms of aliens or infestations, and there's nothing down below either, so we are safe this time around, which is always good. As we play and we get more things unlocked, what we'll eventually do is we'll take these turrets here and we'll actually set them up wherever we're working. So in this case, if we're working here with the ship, what we'll do is we'll set up the turrets down here, so that way if any aliens spawn with the ship, the turrets can kill them. And same with the, whoa, that's really bright, hold on, that's, that's not fun to look at. The shield here prevents anything from coming through it, like any hostiles. So you can actually use that to block access to tunnels, like right here. You can put it right here and nothing will be able to come through until they destroy it. So generally you'd build like this right here and then have two turrets that can actually watch it and defend it. That's how you'll generally work. Those are generally the conditions you want to work under. You want to have the shields blocking the access ways, and then you want to have the turrets kind of defending both the ship and your shields. And I think that's going to do it for today. There's a lot more to be discovered in this game, but we've got a pretty good jump start on some of the basics. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you are, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Play this at least for a few more episodes. Let me know if you want to be a boy or girl.